Oh, we're recording? Yeah, so what's going on, guys? What is going on today, guys? Today, we're gonna show you how to remove your steering wheel, and while we have it off, we're gonna go ahead and change out our paddles for a different style. We're gonna be testing out a few different things over the next couple weeks, and we're gonna be having a bunch of different shift paddles put on the website. So stay tuned and watch the website for that. Also to note, you do not have to take the steering wheel off to remove your paddles. It's just a little bit easier to access, but it can be done all on the car. So if you're not comfortable with removing your steering wheel, you can do this without that. So enough of my babbling, let's get into the video. And today we have a little bit of a variety of tools. We have a flathead, a T20, a T8, 10mm open-ended wrench, 10mm socket, 16mm socket, a torque wrench, and a 1/4 inch ratchet, and a 3/8 ratchet. So first thing you're gonna want to do is disconnect your battery. So you're gonna go ahead and just lift up your panel from the corner and slide her on back. You don't need to take it all the way out. And there's this little plastic cover here. You just go ahead and grab it from up here and pull it to the side, and then just wiggle it and it will pop right off. And then we have our plastic piece here, and all we're gonna need to do is remove that 10mm. So you want to be very careful because you could ground out on this. So just make sure you do not touch this. All right, so I'm gonna use an open-ended wrench so we don't have any issues. And this doesn't have to be crazy loose. So just go ahead and loosen it just enough to where this will slide off. And you'll notice that this is now loose, and you should be able to, no problem, slide her on off. And you're gonna wanna go ahead and make sure that that doesn't touch again. So what we're gonna do is I have a glove here that has rubber on it. Just gonna go ahead and cover the battery just like that, and it won't touch. All right, let's go ahead and get into the car. All right, so on each side of the steering wheel, there's a flat little nub spot right here. So just to see where on each side, right in here, this little teeny spot right here, you're gonna wanna depress these, push these in with a flathead screwdriver. So you're actually gonna end up putting holes in the steering wheel. They don't look bad or anything, but it's meant to be this way. So once you push through, you're gonna end up getting it through that area. As you see, there's already meant to be a spot for it. There's one here as well. And you're going to push the airbag straight forward. You're going to actually be pushing, which is going to push the spring this way. So on here, you're pushing through, and you're gonna actually be pushing on this, which, as you can see right down here, the spring pushes in and then releases. So from this angle, you're going to be pushing down on your actual steering wheel. Then you're going to be pushing this in, and once you feel it kind of click, you're going to pull up on this side of it. Then you're going to switch from this over to the other side and do the exact same thing. And once it releases, this whole thing will just come right out. And don't pull too far, because this only goes about this far out. Then you want to disconnect both of these, and on this big plug, you just push down on this right here, and it will release it. So you're gonna go ahead and push and pull that out. You'll depress this little pin that's inside of here and pull these two pieces together. So this part comes out. And just like that, it is off. All right, and the horn and airbag is out. We're gonna go ahead and set this aside. All right, then we're gonna take our trusty 16mm and go ahead and break this free. And right before you pull your nut off, you want to make sure that you get the steering wheel straight. pull your nut out. Notice there is Loctite on this, so we want to make sure we put Loctite back on. So before we pull the steering wheel out, we got two things. We got this one, we're going to go ahead and just lift up on this and pull this out. So you just apply a little bit of pressure right here, and then this will slide out. And on this, it's going to be the same thing. You just apply a little bit of pressure on this bottom side, and then this will pull right out. All right, now we have everything unplugged, and we can go ahead and make sure the steering wheel is lined up and go ahead and carefully pull it off. And there you go. Now you see the paddles that are already on here. And let's go ahead and get this on the table and show you how to remove these. This is pretty cool. You get to see how this all works as it spins, but you want to make sure this stays lined up in the place that it's supposed to be, so when you put this all back together, the plugs go in the right spot. All right, in here there's two screws that we need to take out. First one's first is this one right here, and you're going to use a T20, and then you're going to go in on this side right here and take out this screw. So let's get those removed. You want to go ahead and hold the paddle in place while you're doing so. And once it's loose, you can go ahead and just do this by hand. Grab the screw, make sure you're holding the paddle in place with your other hand down here. Set the screw aside, and we're gonna flip this over to show you guys what this looks like. And if you can see here, there is a whole switch assembly right inside of there. All right, so to better understand how to remove this, there's this flat edge right here, and on this side of it, so this actually sits just right in here. You're gonna go ahead and just apply a little pressure and basically pull this way, and then you're gonna be able to go ahead and remove the actual piece. So as you see right here, there's a pin on both sides, and so if you see this side is the fatter side, which is the bottom. So if you push this is going to push straight through and out. So we have this T8 Torx there, and push, and that will come out. So grab this, you got to hold this down and just slide this out, set this aside, and then we're going to lay this flat very carefully. So this actually, so you see there's a spring here. We'll set this aside. And so you see there's two little clips on here. So this sits like this, and it's gonna slide forward, lift up, and pull out. On this side, there is this piece, which is what it rocks on. And so you wanna make sure that that stays there. This spring is what goes right on here. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and remove the other side. Grab the screw out of there, set that aside, and we're gonna go ahead and pop our wiring out. And once you go ahead and get that one off, let's go ahead and slide her through the hole. Set our steering wheel aside, and we're gonna go ahead and take this apart the same way. On this one, the side that you slide out is on the bottom of the negative side. So you go ahead and grab our T8, push it, pops out. Again, make sure that you push this down and then slide it out. Set that aside, and then very carefully, you're gonna lift this, and you're gonna see underneath where that little bar was, and then we're gonna go ahead and just slide her forward, and it comes out just like that. And you gotta make sure that you have your little rocker piece inside here. Make sure your spring is on here, and if you notice, there is two little holes, and there's two spots here. This is also where the actual pivot part is going to go. The actual dowel pin is going to go. So you're going to go ahead, and if you look at this, this has the two holes right here, and that's going to go with these two right here. This part is going to go through and just over the top of the spring, like so. Make sure the spring is slightly depressed, and then pivot it over and on. And so if you look at this side, the spring is in the right spot, and these little clear pieces went inside that. We take our pin, and remember there's one side that's smaller than the other. So you gotta just go ahead and look at this hole, look at this hole, this side is larger here. So we're gonna go from this side and just slide her on down and in. Take our T8 Torx. Why I'm using the T8 is it just fits right. Just press it in, it's flush here, and then that is on there. And then we're gonna go ahead and assemble this, just as we did before. Just pivot it down. You look around here, spring's in the proper spot. We're gonna go ahead and take our pin, small side first. You're gonna look on both sides. This is the smaller side, so we're gonna go ahead and make sure everything's lined up. Slide our pin through, and then when you do this, go ahead and push on the edge of it so it stops and makes it flush. And then that's nice and flush on that side. It's nice and flush on that side, and this one is done. So you don't want them sticking at all. Let's move on to assembly. Face our steering wheel down, and to show you on this side, I'm gonna go ahead and just push this on through there. Once that's through, you can go ahead and set that on there, and this is gonna sit nice and flush and nice and neat looking on the back. Flip this around, and before we plug that in, we're gonna take and put our screw in and our T20. And remember, you don't want this to go too tight because this is plastic you're going into. So just get it so it stops, so you have it snug, and then just give it maybe about an 1/8, maybe a 1/4 of a turn max. Plug in our plug. Make sure that the plug is in the right spot. Nice. All right, now go to this side. We're gonna flip her over. Now, right before you get it completely tight, look on the back, make sure this is in the right spot. It doesn't have any, like, it's not tilted or cockeyed or anything. And just get her snug. Go ahead and plug this one in. And make sure this one goes behind that. So there's little pins in here. This is for the horn, but it goes around that little pin on each side. You're good to go. Look how much nicer that looks. All right, let's get this put back in the car. So we're back in the car. We're gonna go ahead and put the steering wheel back on. There is a notch in here. The steering wheel is actually notched. So it's got a flat spot in it. So you don't have to worry about getting it lined up exactly because it's only gonna go in one way. Once we got it in, we're gonna go ahead and plug everything in that we unplugged. So the red and black wire goes down below. All these plugs can only go in one spot. This multicolor one goes up here, and we're gonna go ahead and put the bolt back in and tighten it down. All right, make sure you put new blue Loctite on this before you thread it in. This is gonna go to 46 foot-pounds. All the way 46. And let's go ahead and get this puppy on. All right, 46 foot-pounds. Now, last but not least, we have our airbag. And go ahead and plug this in first. Big plug in, snap her in, and take our blue and black wires and plug them into the black and yellow wire. There's no way to mess this up. You just take your time, make sure it's in the right spot, and then this has a specific location. All you do is just push, and it's locked in. Now, remove my glove, power this car back up. Remember, you don't want to go crazy tight on this, you just get it snug. Go ahead and clip her back into place, put our little protector on, and slide our panel right back into place. Alrighty, that ends our episode for today. So as you can see, putting a new steering wheel on or changing your paddle shifters are pretty straightforward. Just got to be a little bit patient, follow the directions. I hope we made this a little bit easier for you. So anyways, smash the like button, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below. And remember, we have some giveaways coming up really soon. We should have some information within the next couple videos. All right, thank you very much. See you on the next one. Peace.